When you grab him, he is going to bite you, and it is going to hurt a lot. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is Vlogmas Day 3, and today I'm going to be talking about Baby Bear. I haven't shared much about how we ended up with Baby Bear or how he ended up being my emotional support animal, but today's going to be how I ended up with Baby Bear. My husband and I were at a parking lot outside of a store, and the store had just closed and we were the last people to leave, and I thought I heard a bird in the bushes, and I listened really carefully, and the more I listened to it, the less it sounded like a bird and the more it sounded like a kitten. So I went to explore, and I saw this teeny tiny little gray kitten in the bushes outside of this store. And they weren't big bushes. They were just little short bushes that people use for ornamentation, kind of like boxwoods, only they were cut really short. And he sounded just like a bird, but he looked just like a kitten. So I went to grab him, and he ran from that little place where their bushes were across 7 parking spaces to another embankment where there were bushes, and it took him all of maybe a second to cross the entire path. Fast. This little kitten was fast. And I let my husband know what I had heard and what I'd seen, and so he decided to start helping me try and capture this cute little beast of a baby. This fast little beast of a baby. And the other set of bushes that he went into was much larger than the first set of bushes where I found him. So it was very difficult for us to get in there and try to get to him. And every time we got anywhere near him, he would run away again, as kittens do. And in this time, we'd been there for probably 20 minutes at this point. Nobody had come looking for him, and no other cats were around. And so we flushed him out back to the original set of bushes. And again, zoom, 7 parking spaces in like a second. Like a second. Very fast little boy. And he's still a very fast little boy. But we went to we went where we first found him in the smaller set of bushes and still couldn't catch him. Well, there was a chicken place across the street, so I went and bought some chicken strips. And while I was over there buying the chicken strips, my husband had this brilliant idea to look up kitten videos on YouTube and to start playing these kitten videos. And the kitten video would yowl, and Baby Bear would yowl back. And the kitten video would yowl, and Baby Bear would yowl back. And between us, we figured that this would be a good way to catch this little guy. So we just sat outside the big set of bushes, because by this point he'd run back to it, and played these little kitten noises for him to do a call and report on, and thought, okay, this won't be too long. 4 hours later, we're still sitting there playing little kitten noises on videos. We've had to switch phones at this point because one of the phones had died. I think we started out using his phone. It had died. And so we were using my phone, and my battery was starting to get low. But finally, this little gray kitten was feeling comfortable enough to be closer to us. And we had a little pile of chicken strips right in front of my husband, and he was laying on his side, you know, like in the spoon shape. But he wasn't spooning anybody. He was just spooning a little pile of chicken. And this little Baby Bear would come up and sniff and get a little closer, and he'd sniff the air and he'd get a little closer. Then he'd run away again. We'd play more kitten videos, and he'd sniff the air and get a little closer. And finally it got to the point where he was getting close enough to the chicken that we were going to be able to catch him. And I whispered to my husband, I said, when you go to catch him, because my husband was in the position to catch him. He was the one spooning the chicken pile, so my husband was the one who was going to catch this little guy. I said, when you grab him, he is going to bite you, and it is going to hurt a lot. If you let him go, we will never catch him again. And he heeded the warning, and he reached over as soon as the kitten got to the little pile of chicken. He was laying here like this. The kitten was a little pile of chicken. He reached over and he grabbed Baby Bear. And Baby Bear not only bit the snot out of him, he also scratched the snot out of him. But my husband, God love him, did not drop Baby Bear. He held on. And we didn't have anything to put Baby Bear in, so he handed this little bundle of rage to me very carefully, and wrapped him in a towel and put him in my car, because we were in 2 separate cars, and drove home. And in the time that it took us to drive from the store to home, he found his way into behind my dashboard. And there was no way. I was not going to get him. That was just not going to happen. I was not going to get him out from behind the dashboard. And so I put food and water into the car on the floor, and I just left him there. And I went back out about an hour later, and he was on the dashboard of my car in all of my little fuzzy things that were sitting in the dashboard of my car, because I had all these little fuzzy toys on the dashboard of my car, and he was just asleep in all of them. And I gently reached in and I picked him up and I held him to me, and he purred so loud. It was just, I was his and he was mine. And that was the moment that we both knew it. And that was that. We named him Baby Bear. And once you name an animal, it's yours. And he's my Baby Bear. He's my emotional support cat. And the funny thing about him is he has never purred audibly again. That is the first, last, and only time that I could hear his purr without actively putting my ear right up to his chest. But I will always and forever remember that purr, because that purr said, I'm yours, you're mine, this is my home, and forever I will be here. And in the 4 hours that it took us to catch this cute little pile of fluffy, funness, nobody came looking for him. No other cats showed up. We have no idea what this animal's story was before he got to that parking lot. But we will know every moment of his story since. And that's how we got Baby Bear. Until tomorrow, happy Vlogmas. And I hope you have a wonderful day.